All right, George or Virginia McCaskey are not going to do anything to save this franchise. They're the main issue here. They're sold on selling tickets and the brand based on the 1985 Bears, and you and I both know we're both guilty of feeding into that. Since 1985, they put a product out there that does well every 10 years for a year or two, and then they go into a 10-year rebuild. And right now, this is their last one because Kevin Warren was hired by them and their board, and it's the greatest thing to ever happen as a fan and the franchise for the long term. A no BS, want success ASAP kind of guy, and I think he has held his tongue long enough for this team and is about to step in this Monday. I am praying to see him pull the plug on this coaching staff for the first time mid-season. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, and as always, thank you for tuning in. After Chicago's 9th consecutive division loss under Matt Eberflus and company, we are the laughingstock of the NFC, especially the NFC North. And Warren will not let this continue. And he has a list during this holiday season of people he's going to get rid of. Luke Getsy and Matt Eberflus are circled first on this list. And to be honest, Ryan Poles isn't safe either, but I think he can save himself, which I hope he does. If you want Kevin Warren to do something immediately for this team to change the direction, make sure to hit that like button on this video. Put your thoughts of what you want to happen in the comments section. And if you haven't already and you can help by continuing to support this channel, hit the subscribe button with notifications. I will be giving all Bears breaking news as soon as it drops, so make sure you do that. And especially, I'm hoping the Kevin Warren news of doing something comes sooner than later. So let's start with who's gone first, and that's Luke Getsy. We hired Luke Getsy last year to help Justin Fields be an Aaron Rodgers type player, which Rodgers talked very highly of Luke Getsy during his time when they worked in Green Bay together. And now I'm starting to think Aaron Rodgers played one more trick on the Chicago Bears by acting like Luke Getsy was the guy when really he knew himself wasn't the best choice. He cannot do anything with this offense to complete a game. For starters, the Bears were the worst passing team in the NFL last year. They went out and got Chase Claypool to try to make it work. Didn't work. Bears went out and got DJ Moore. And yes, he's almost at 1,000 receiving yards, but he could be at freaking 1,500 at this point if you used him correctly, because you don't target him enough. You have Darnell Mooney, who's best friends with Justin Fields, who's getting one reception a game against the Detroit Lions, and pretty much one reception a game the entire season. But then you go out and get Tyler Scott as Mooney's potential replacement, and then you're not doing anything with him at all? Unbelievable how bad this is getting. The Bears are ranked a lot better this year on offense, but I think that has more to do with the players and the coaches. Bears total yards through 11 games are ranked 20th in the NFL, passing 25th, so technically 7 spots better than last year. Rushing, they are 4th in the league, thanks to Justin Fields taking it himself and Tyson Bagent when he was quarterback, and also the running backs kind of doing their own thing. And then points, 19. You can put factors out there that he's had inconsistent quarterbacks, but I don't care. If you're a good coordinator, you make your quarterbacks great. Getsy forced Fields at the beginning of the season to not be a running quarterback, to not roll outside of the pocket. And guess what? It sounds like maybe the higher-ups like Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles went to Getsy and said, you need to play around his strengths. They start doing that. This team starts doing well. And I feel like Luke Getsy is trying to stick it to the front office by saying, oop, I'm going to pull the plug late in the game, like he did against the Saints, and now like he did against the Detroit Lions. And arguably the Vikings game as well, which was very winnable, because he walks in with such a terrible game plan. You're not tricking anybody by doing very well for the first 3 quarters and then absolutely falling apart and not being able to do anything. Getsy also knows field goals don't win games. Santos went 4 for 4, and I love Cairo Santos. Extend that man immediately, because God knows the Bears need a good kicker. But he knows that too. He is putting them in positions to get field goals, put us in a position to get a touchdown. That's also on Matt Eberflus too, to not go for it on 4th and 1 in Detroit, which is another stupid decision, but I'm getting to him in a minute. The relationship between Fields and Getsy doesn't look healthy on the sideline either. Fields is talking more to our quarterback's coach and his teammates more than Getsy, Overall, just not good juju. Also, he had a healthy scratch on Deontay Foreman, who has 4 rushing touchdowns for the Bears in 6 games. It just doesn't make sense. So that's the first guy I'm firing. And then I'm firing the guy that hired you, Matt Eberflus. 6 in 22 in his 28 games as Bears head coach, the worst winning percentage in Chicago Bears head coach history. You work with your assistants, you go on, work with your players, and you win the game. And Matt Eberflus just can't seem to do that. 3 different coaches fired over the last 2 seasons. 2 reasons explained in detail, and 1 we still don't know about. What player is going to want to come to the Bears next year and play for this staff? Bears have also lost 13 of those 22 games by 1 possession. You get all those back, Matt Eberflus looks like a god. Even half of them, it looks way more respectful. That's just not the case. I really was high on Matt Eberflus. I was. Not the guy anymore. It's time to move on to a new direction. Kevin Warren, I hope, is sitting in his office right now. They definitely are back from Detroit when this video was filmed. And he's sitting there and going, this is who we need next year, and collaborating with Ryan Poles, because Poles has done a fantastic job at building this team to be as unstoppable as possible, because this is a very good roster. And if you go back to one of my tweets that I put it out yesterday, this team is so close to being successful. You plug in the right head coach, you plug in the right play caller for Justin Fields, this team is going to shock a ton of people next year. Put your thoughts in the comments section below about what you want the Chicago Bears to do, especially Kevin Warren. But with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, and as always, bear down, baby.